Guess who's back? Back again. Anton's back. Tell your friends. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Right, anyway, I'm back. I'm back here bringing you some content. It's only a few days away from the January transfer window, and God knows what is going to be going out our door. God knows what is going to be coming in our door. Literally, nobody knows. Nobody knows who's even in charge. Is it Leland Lopetegui? Is it Tim Steidten? Or is it David Sullivan? Of course, we all know he can't help himself when it comes to West Ham and signings because he's going to get himself involved. However, I am here to give you some further updates and news on one particular player that's starting to grow a little bit of arms and legs at West Ham. Before I do that, though, let me talk to you about this week's prize, still ongoing for the football prizes. Of course, the channel sponsor. The competition ends, and you'll see that there's over nearly 3,000 tickets available, but the tickets do cost 39 pence. So make sure you get yourself across there and check it out. The description will be, the link for the website will be in the description. It's to win this multi-signed and framed West Ham shirt. Fantastic by setup as well, including an inbuilt LED light setup. And obviously, you've got a further chance to win a Max Kilman and a Thomas Soucek instant prize signed top at the same time. But I am here to talk to you about this guy, the Real Sociedad forward, Brais Mendez. Now, according to reports, and in particular according to reports in Spain, that they are saying that Julen Lopetegui has identified the 27-year-old as a perfect addition to West Ham's front line at East London. Whether it's Julen Lopetegui or Tim Steidten, that is yet to be confirmed. But West Ham apparently have made him, the Liga star, a priority target ahead of the January transfer window. And apparently, Mendes is intrigued by the prospect of moving to the Premier League and, of course, to West Ham at the London Stadium. Now, this is on the back of West Ham scouts being in attendance of Real Sociedad's last 3 outings, according to reports as well. Mendes has a £50 million release clause in his contract. So if we are going to spend some money, are we going to send some money out the door to bring some money, much needed funds into the club? Now, we all know we've been struggling to be with the consistency in front of goal this season. Apart from Jared Bowen, we're not, setting the world alight in terms of front of goal, considering we've got some really good, talented midfielders. And even though Julen Lopetegui has failed to convince many West Ham fans that he's the right man in charge, we're starting to pick up a little bit of points and move up the league and creating that bit of a distance between us and the bottom teams as well. But when it comes to looking at targets going forward and players who could fit into the role of maybe what West Ham are looking for, I do think that Mendes is that type of player. He's kind of known as predominantly a wide forward. He can be deployed in a central role. And so far this season, he has been responsible for 6 goal contributions in 22 outings overall competitions so far. He also boasts 35 goals and 27 assists in 234 La Liga appearances throughout his spells at Celta Vigo and Real Sociedad. He can play anywhere across the central midfield 3 and on the flank, so his versatility would really go down well and could be a worthwhile addition to West Ham. And he could provide another creative output to ease that burden on Bowen, and that's something that we definitely are lacking. But equally, if you add that pure quality into our midfield, and I suppose you could say maybe it could be the future of what we're looking at in terms of if Paquetá is going to stay or go, depending on what's going to happen with him. We're going to have to look at other outlets. But I'm starting to see the creativity and the class, I believe, that Carlos Soler has got, and West Ham hopefully can keep bringing the best out of him. That maybe if we can start to build upon some of the key players that we've brought in, mixed in that with the current crop of players that we do have, and bringing someone in of Mendes's pure and utter talent, then that would be very, very, very good potential good signing for us. Now, according to reports, also West Ham have reached our maximum spend in terms of FFP. But does that mean that West Ham have to sell our best players? I'm not so sure. And the reason why I'm not so sure is, remember, there is a player that's out on loan who currently plays for the club that Mendes plays for. That player is called Naif Aguerd. He's on loan with them. So before you disregard this whole deal on the price situation, Aguerd represents easily half of the finances that we would need to bring in to allow us to sign Mendes, and therefore we would only have to pay Sociedad a further £25 million. And we also know, and we're hearing, that Sociedad and Aguerd would want to stay in their current situation. So we're not the only club looking at Mendes. Aston Villa apparently are keen to sign him as well, considering he's had very impressive performances in La Liga. And like I said, he has scored goals this season. But he is that player. If you watch him, when you see him, and I don't know if you ever watch any of La Liga, but he operates from a deep position. But he seems to get forward and latch onto those balls. And I always find that sometimes you've always noticed that you've got that gap between our midfield and our forwards. That's something I think we've lacked for such a long time. Even now with Fulkrug, who I think starting to build upon his game a little bit. He's going to need to take up a little bit more time to get himself up to scratch and fitness. But, you know, in a couple of games, he's bagged himself a goal and got himself an assist. And to be honest, could have scored one more on top of that. And I think that could maybe build upon that. But with the pure quality that we've got with Kudus, Bowen, Carlos Soler, and you add a Mendes into that midfield, and players that, you know, other players that can draw players away and out of their position, can allow other players to operate and come through from those wide flanks. Mendes is that type of player. I'm not making that. I'm not. There is a very similarity to Arnautovic, in my opinion, from watching someone like Mendes play. There's a similarity. He's not the bastard, but he is a similar style player. He kind of runs fast but short steps, and he's very clever on the ball. He can shoot first time, he can take a touch, and you know, he seems to ride a tackle and can ride that tackle and shoot when that tackle happens as well. So he's definitely a prospect. Not a prospect, but a player that I think can definitely add a huge amount of value. Like I said, they're calling him the former Spanish international, making his debut for Spain back in 2018. He's had 4 appearances and scored 1 goal, but not featured in for Spain for a while now. But like I said, in La Liga this season, 15 appearances for Real Sociedad, 2 goals, 1 assist, 2 assists in the Europa League. Never been massively prolific in front of goal, but considering his position over the last few seasons, he's consistent in scoring, and goal contributions are always matching over 10 goals per season, minimum. So I think there's definitely something in there. And like I said, he operates in all these different positions. It's definitely someone we should keep an eye on. It's definitely someone that probably wants to move into the Premier League, and someone that's probably going to double his value, double his money, his earnings when he does come to the Premier League, you could say. So there's maybe a deal to be done there. Keep your eyes on this one, of course. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on Mendes. Do you think West Ham will be into the market? And do you think there's a deal to be done with the Aguerd and Real Sociedad situation that can reduce the fee of what we would have to pay for Mendes? £25 million makes it a lot easier and makes you not worry maybe so much about West Ham having to let Kudus go to bring in some much needed funds, because even though Kudus hasn't been firing all cylinders yet this season, I really don't want to see him go in January. I really do not want to see him go. Anyway, leave your comments, hit the like button, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Take it easy and come on, your irons.